Yeah. Did you get a subscription notice?
No.
That's because you ain't got one. Very poor. Wonder if anyone will come on. Some stuff do here, look. I got bubbles, man. Evening, Aaron. Just let a few come in, mate. Just having a mess about. Right, this camera shows all my pitted skin. Let's go on 8mm. Ugh. Did you enjoy the show, mate? Oh, 6. Say hello in the comments, guys. Irrespective of who you are, just put a comment in. Look at that pair of knickers there, look. Saskia's knickers,
It's
look.
not. It's
What
a
is
cloth.
it? Oh, I thought it was a pair of knickers. So, who went to the British show? Say hello in the comments. Chap, they probably are actually. Let's see what this is. Yeah, boy. Oh, got to remember to guard the privacy and the community guidelines. So, I've just thought, come on for a chat. So, I've just been busy, to be honest. I just fitted. What did I fit? The UV, wasn't it? So the 110 UV, and it took a while, to be honest, because I hadn't planned to put a 110 in the filter house when I was planning it. So I tell you what, the amount of water that sits in the pipes, I mean, obviously I can isolate the feed from the pond and also the filter, but when I cut the pipes, I didn't think one of the valves were working, mate. There was that much coming out, and I did empty the Nexus. I emptied the Nexus first, but the amount of water that was in there was actually unreal. Which is important to work out how much it is when you're administering your treatments, I suppose. But don't forget to put comments in, guys. It's in now. Not exactly where I wanted it, but beggars can't be choosers. So I'm now running 185 watts as UV, which is a massive overkill. If that don't clear the clarity in my water, I don't know what will, to be quite honest. So, all good. Are people making comments, Pops? Go on YouTube and have a look, see if I'm missing anything. Dave, thanks for joining, mate. Rest of you, man, put some questions in. Did you go to the Great British Koi Show? I did, obviously. Yeah, you was, Bryce. See you there, mate. I must admit, I've got a video coming out on that anyway, but might as well just have a bit of a chat now. Overall standard of fish was pretty good, with the exception of the bigger. There weren't a lot of big fish in there, which I actually quite enjoy, to be fair, because the amount of hobbyists that have shown, I think there's 38 bats, but the amount of hobbyists that have shown in what most of us can achieve in their ponds, it was good. So there was some good competition there, and a good standard of fish actually as well. I know that Lee's got a video coming out. He done all right for himself, and I'm quite chuffed to bits for him. You'll see that in the video anyway. Those people that I ain't seen, he dropped a video this morning as well. Let's move that up there. Okay, I'll put that little thing here like this. Let's have a look. Oh, fucking hell. Community guidelines right there.
What you want where?
I'll just put propping that. That's better, isn't it? See me now, rather than just my eyes. But any questions in there, guys? I've just done me 110 UV. Planned it twice. And then I took a shelf down, and I was like, why don't I put it there where the shelf was? So I've got it actually vert, so that'll be interesting. Because you don't say you can do that, but it's water in it. Water can go up and down. So that's what I've done. That's what's going to happen. Running 175 watts now. So water clarity wants to be on point. If it's not, I'm taking the pond back. I'm going to fill it in. It's doing me ticks in. But I don't know, would I be able to spin it round? There you go. Not too bad, not too shabby. Still some bits on the table, been working. So don't judge, but ain't looking too shabby, I don't suppose. Just the clarity, I think you'll agree that the clarity is not to die for, so to speak. So, but shower's working well. You see my little Tamasaba there on the right hand side. Proper fat. Pops Saskia's called in, you go.
Excuse me.
There we go. Alan Tate's there. If you fill it in, there's no need to render it. Mate, I've been booked in for the 9th of September, mate. Remember, I'm not rendering it, my brother is. Go on, girl, what's up with you? It's only a wire. You can step over that. That's the dog. Timid as ever. But, yeah, UV's done. That was a bit of a brain basher, actually, because 110 is quite a footprint on any wall, especially when you ain't got much wall to use. And the fact that I'd already plumbed it in how I wanted it. Evening Wheels Koi, mate, thanks for tuning in. Even though I ain't got much wall to put it in, because I hadn't worked out where I was going to go with it, I decided to go vertical rather than horizontal. So, but that'll be coming out in a video later on. What I will be doing though is taking a few pictures of the water day on day, just to have a comparison, see whether or not it's working. But I was just saying earlier, because there's a few more people in now, that
Tank.
what?
Size of tank.
Yeah. I emptied the Nexus down, or drained the Nexus down, isolated the pond into the Nexus. I isolated the valves at the returns into the pond. And then I isolated at the air source heat pump. But the amount of water that the system holds is actually unreal. So when I cut into the pipe and water started spurting everywhere, I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then it kept coming and coming and coming. And at that point, I started to panic, because I thought maybe one of my ball valves had failed and the pond was going to empty itself. But it stopped eventually, and I'll say eventually. So yeah, that was done, and I managed to save on a few fittings as well, because I bought some couplers and I had a couple of 2-inch ball valves spare that I was going to do, but in the end I've ended up using some rubber boots, and I'll use that. So yeah, I've used a couple of rubber boots, but I've got them in a couple of places on the build, and they do all right. I ain't gonna lie, they're fine. One thing I will have to get, just in case, is, I mean, I'm quite lucky because I can isolate at different points on the pond. So even if one was to fail, I can isolate, and it minimises the loss. So you know, although be it they haven't touched wood on the floor, nothing's failed on me yet with regards to that. So just a couple of little comments. Put some comments in there, guys. Your show as much as mine. So Koi Beginnings, can Krafty, oh you mate, good to see you yesterday, mate. Man, you was nearly chomping your fingers off eating that burger yesterday, or whatever it was you was eating. Can you individually switch each 55 watts on and off, so you run just a 55 or a full 100? On the 110, mate, no, it's 110 or 0. It's something that I do cover in the shop when people are buying, although be it the outlay on 255s is a lot more expensive. So, but yeah, for me, it'd be good if EA brought something in where you could. Now, I suppose there is a way of doing it, which is basically taking the bulb out of one side, or disconnecting it. So you still can, but it'd be good to have an on-off switch. I agree with you there, Mike. It gives you more to play with. So, any more questions, lassies? I can't find the question. No, there it is. Alan Tate, if you fill it in, you'll not need to render it. Yep, so I'm booked in. Spoke to my brother yesterday. He's actually booked me in for the 9th of September. So that will be quite interesting, whether he manages to turn up for that. Irish Geordie's Koi, hiya mate. He goes, all right, everyone, like he's from Leicester. Since I put the 80-watt submergible amalgam on the pond, it's been crystal clear. Ever since, it's on its 3rd year now. That's good. That is something I was thinking. The dog's just bought me a treat. Thank you, dog, for picking that up. Yeah, I was looking at amalgams, but I'm still in two minds. Now, for those people that don't know, the Nexus 220 and 320, they contrast to belief, and I've had this clarified with EA, you can drop an amalgam into them. They're made of the same stuff that they used to when they had their UV housing in the same material, so they can house amalgams. Now, one thing that you got to work out is bearing in mind that amalgams are bacteria busters. Where you would drop it into a Nexus if you're going to use it, because not only does it destroy nasty bacteria, but it also destroys good bacteria. So you have to work out how to install it. If you put it too close to your moving bed, you're going to zap your beneficial bacteria as much as you are the nasties. So yeah, I did look into it. I'm still looking into it. I can still run one, but maybe just use it as and when I introduce new fish, and run that for a couple of weeks, and turn the 110 off. I don't know. I'm still playing with it. Let me know your thoughts, what you guys would do. Now, Great British Koi Show turnout was excellent, so there must be people on here that's seen that. So, Edlesborough Koi Pond, Steve Charles says, I have a 30 watt and a 55 watt plumbed in. Parallel valve to run either or both. Yeah, it's good, mate, that. A lot of people don't do that. I mean, I've got the ability to run a 75 and a 110 now. Or both, much to the missus' dismay. But, yeah, it's quite nice to be able to put extra on if you need it. I mean, 75 watt should have been ample for the volume of water I've got. However, it proved not to be the case. So looking at the gallonage and flow rates, etc., 75 watt UV bulb was more than ample according to the parameters to give me gin clear water. But as you can see, it's not the case. Now, there are some things. My garden's south facing, you wouldn't think it at this time of year, but it is in sun, and it's in sun all the time, so that water does get absolutely zapped. So the algae growth in the water is monumental, to be fair. When I put blanket answer in, it really did zap the water, and that was the best it ever looked. But it didn't take long for that algae to start coming back, to be honest. So I think for me that was the decision point for me to make sure that to get it I needed to upgrade my UV. So that's what I've done, guys. But fish just swimming across the bottom is my secret Sankey. Still no sumi showing on it, but it's getting there. That's me a saggy. She's 4. She's gone past her best now, but quite nice. And then we've got Madonna in the bottom right hand corner. Believe it or not, is a Sankey. She jumped out a few months ago and was looking a bit worse for wear, but we managed to get her back. Yeah, she's starting to come on point. Saki growth and colour actually has really helped her develop, but she's looking, and still a little bit of Benny, looking a little bit worse for wear around her head, but all in all not too bad. But yeah, it's like, what's that one there, Kel? That's the chag, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hirasawa chag, in her second year of growth. She's growing well. And then I've got one of my original Hiatsauris. Whether or not he's going to show or not is another thing. Or should I say Kiatsuri? It splits opinion. But looks like I ain't got any fish in me pond. Look. They look well. So the Shiro you see there, that is from Donald Kerr's lineage. NND, doing exceptionally well this year. Bought that at 14 cm last year, in fact at Newark last year. So that's around 35 to 38 cm now. And then the Tancho you see is a Sakai. Starting to do quite well actually. Suma's still got a lot to do on that fish, so I'm watching that one with a lot of interest. Now I did have a Dainichi Kahaku in there, but Cat had it. So yeah, madness being a Kahaku as well. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab some food and throw it in. Ship fry, come on. There we go. Come on in. See if that'll entice them up a bit. Not for you, dog. Any questions, guys? I'd just like to let's have a look. Are you twisted, mate? Thanks for jumping on. Good to see quite a lot of support down at the British Koi show. That was quite a lot of YouTubers there at the weekend, I'm told. Definitely a few there on the Sunday. You see Andy. Well, quite a few. I don't need to go through them. You'll see their videos pop up. But overall, you know, what did you guys think on it? You know, there's 20 of you on, and I dare say a few of you went. So, you know, you tell me what you thought. Vince, what was your thoughts on it, son? Let us know. You can see the Kiatsuri now. You know, quite a few fish in there. I've got 3 Shiro at Sori. One is Omasako, one is NNT. Quick and Crafty, I've heard in the years gone past, fish will only grow to the size of the pond, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so not entirely true actually. So if I was to say a whale is always a whale, and if you put it in a small pond, it's going to remain a small whale, I think you'll find that's not the case. However, if they're quite heavily stocked for a long time, they do, from my understanding and knowledge, and I may be speaking bollocks, but it's what my understanding is, genetics play a big part, but the more fish you got, the less they will grow when they get to a certain size, and that's merely down to the fact that they let off a pheromone that sort of slows their growth down. So as far as I'm aware, there's quite some truth in it. And the other part to that is, hiya Skeggy mate, thanks for joining us. I see you had a tattoo. The other part to it is, a lot of people don't feed their fish enough. So actually, when you're growing your fish on, it's all right when you first start out. You know, you feed enough that looks enough, and generally is enough because they're only little toes eye. However, when they start to get a little bit more size on them, people don't tend to up the feed rates. So when they start off with 25, 30 toes eye, when them fish get bigger, they start to actually underfeed the fish. So therefore, you're never going to get full growth potential out your fish anyway. So, you know, there's quite a lot to take into account. So also, on top of that, if you're overstocked and you are feeding quite a bit, it may be the fact that you're still not feeding enough, because believe it or not, fish are greedy fuckers. Fish are greedy, but if you're not going to feed them enough, then again they won't body up. So sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind, and you know, thin out your pond if you want to get a body on them. You know, I'll cast your minds back to when we was doing Koi Talk Live and talking about jumbos, and it was said, you know, about the pond design. You know, is it long and thin enough? Would you be willing to have just a couple of fish in your pond so you could grow them to massive fish, i.e. jumbos? And when I'm saying jumbos, 90 centimetre plus. Because if you ain't got a body of water for that volume of fish, or if you haven't got the volume of water for a massive amount of fish, or even a fish of that size, it's not going to do it. So to go back to the original question, Wills, they do to an extent, but you can control certain factors to get the most out of your fish, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. So I'll stay here then. 90 cm. Who's got 90 cm, mate? So I certainly haven't. I think there was one not seen. Well, there was a few at the show, but one particular one stood out for me. But that'll be in the video. However, Craig McNeish had a very good. I was overfeeding now, had to do bloody ward show. I will learn. Right, but was you overfeeding, Will? Is it the fact that you're overfeeding, or are you underfiltered? That's two things to take into account, mate. I don't know what your filtration setup is, mate, off the top of my head, mate. So if you can let me know what your filtration and volume of water is, I might be able to give you a couple of heads up. But fish ain't looking too shabby, I'm going to lie. There's a few in there that I'm going to be moving on at the end of the year. I've got a key Matsuba to add. But yeah, murky as you like, innit? Makes me sad. Kajaku's lovely, one of my favourites. It's not a showpiece, but it is a bloody nice pond fish, if it ever shows itself. See if I can get them up in there. Easy pod in the shower. What's the volume, Vince? Okay, tell me why you think you're overfeeding, Will. I mean, how many fish have you got? And why do you think you're overfeeding, mate? How many fish you got, Wills? Thing is, overfeeding is quite tricky with koi, especially especially if you're especially if your filtration's better. You're going to hear the auto feeder go off, but I've got to fill it up, so it's only giving the dregs at the minute. The mango mix. Okay, 11 fish, mate, right? So at the moment, I am getting through 15 kilos a month, between 15 kilos every 3 weeks to a month. And although I've got a 320, it handles it well. And the reason for that is what you've got to do, Will, you've got to make sure that you're building up your biomass, i.e. your beneficial bacteria, to be able to cope with the waste that's coming from your koi. 11 fish is not a lot of fish, and it's certainly not a lot of fish for for a pod. Okay, so the fact that you're running a shower as well should also be helping you. What makes you think you're overfeeding? Are you doing your water tests? So you've got to sometimes feed through your spikes. As long as your parameters aren't dangerously high, you've just got to keep feeding through it and keep building that beneficial bacteria. The issue that we're seeing this year for people on unheated ponds is that temperature fluctuations are really pissing with the ponds, to be honest. The fact that we can't maintain any sort of decent heat in the pond really messed with us this year, especially after last year. After last year, mate, when we had 40-degree heat, the ponds on their own, they, even without a heater on it, mate, the fish were in heaven. Constant feed, they just constantly eat. But like last night, down to 11 degrees. Then up to 20 today. That's a 9-degree loss. So therefore, 10 degrees is a lot of temperature swing in a pond, especially for a koi, because it's coming out of the never zone and then back into it, out of it, then back into it, out of it, then into it. So not only that, but parasites thrive in that window, and beneficial bacteria struggles to grow in that window. So it's important you put gel into your ponds as well. I add gel every single week, sometimes twice a week, to be honest, because that kickstart in bio is irrespective of whether it's needed or not. It's worth having, even if it's an additive that's not needed. It can't hurt your water, so I always put it in. So, a couple of comments. I've done and missed 25 kilograms of pellets this season so far. That's not including mealworms and treats. Yep. 15 kilos every 3 to 4 weeks I'm doing at the moment. But I don't really add anything extra. I've given them a lettuce. They don't do oranges, don't do watermelon. They did eat the lettuce eventually. They wondered what it was more than realise that it was food, to be honest, so they shied away. But nothing additional on top of my pellets. Edlesborough, I think I said that right, Steve, but Steve Charles says I'm constantly feeding mine 3,000 gallons, bottom drain to small medium multi-bay to largest veg filter. mid-level to a large vortex to a Nexus 320 to UVs. Wow, that on a 3,000 gallon pond. You know, why are you doing just out of interest, mate? Because each to their own. Why do you do a medium multi-bay on top of a 320 plus? Because a 320 at a 3,000 gallon pond is ample amount of mechanical and bio filtration. Excuse me, filtration. To be fair, you know, it's interesting. Well, there you go. I'd love to see your pond, Steve. So, if you got pictures, man, fire me some over. You'll find me on Facebook, Krafty Koi. Go in a message and just drop us over some pictures, man. I'd love to have a look at that, to be honest. Right, let's have a look who's on. Irish Geordie. Irish Geordie, what if you're still listening, mate, what filter are you setting up? Or what pond setup have you got? So Gary Robson, I have big ideas of holding 25 degree plus after starting my pond this year, but settled on holding at 22 degrees. Cost too much to do more. I agree, mate. However, I'll just point something out on this. It's not ideal to keep your pond temperature at 25 degrees plus. There are fish that will do all right in it, but actually what you'll find is that it could damage the benny quite considerably, being that high too long. Especially if you're growing your fish, you will find that some fish really will not tolerate that temperature level for long. And I don't mean health wise, I'm on about pattern wise. You know, pattern wise you can really damage it. So actually 21 to 22 is better than 25 degrees constant anyway. So not only are you saving yourself a couple of quid, but you're actually doing the right thing. So Irish Geordie coming back to me says that he's massively over filtered, but I just can't help it. It's an addiction. That's fair, man. It is. Edinburgh Koi, Space can't get anything else in the filter bay for the bottom drain pond on here, although haven't been updated with the Nexus. Oh, okay, I understand. Go Robson. Okay, cool. You're welcome, mate. Feeding 500 grams a day. That's a decent amount of food, mate. And Yorkie's Koi. Hiya, mate. Hiya, Yorkie. Thanks for joining us. So, starting to build up a bit of an audience now, guys. I'd like to know what your views were on the Great British Koi Show, please. IG, that you're not wrong there, IGK. What's IGK? IGK, buddy. I don't know what IGK is, Vince. I don't do all that lingo, mate. On the plane, so we'll probably lose the signal soon. Whereabouts are you on the plane, Skeggy? I'm be quite interested to know that you're watching me in a plane somewhere. Kel. Yeah? What Skeggy is on his way back from Denmark in an aeroplane watching. Oh, they get internet now, don't they? Yeah. Yeah. Come on, guys. 28 there. It'd be nice to know. IGK. IGK. Am I being thick? I probably am. Oh, Irish Geordie Koi. I am being thick. Got ya. Got ya. Listen, mate, my kids text me stuff with, like, acronyms. I'm like, what? Being in the army, used to talk in acronyms, but text speak and stuff like that, I have no idea about. So, got the biggest filtration system he's ever seen. So, haven't been to a show, right? So budget pond keeper, haven't been to a show, but watched all the videos, but don't seem to do a lot to bring people into the hobby. Seems all high end and expensive. Haha! I'm really glad that you've put that in, budget pond keeper, because that's not true. So a few major awards that are won at this is on the runway, Cal. A few major awards at the British Koi Show that just held this weekend. So one fish, and I'm sure that the person, well, I ain't going to say who it is in case he hasn't told anyone, but there was a fish that won a major, and it's not Lee Hadfield, before people think that, because he'll tell you, and he wouldn't mind me telling you. So, but he won a major, again, with a fish that cost him 175 quid. So, really nice lad. I say lad, he's a bloke. Shiny bald head. But yeah, he won a major with a fish for 175 quid. Lee Hadfield also took 2 majors. One of his fish was an NND mud pond fish. That cost him 495 quid off the top of my head. And then another fish that he won on wasn't much more than that, actually. So I also had a hobbyist showing 3 fish from Perfect. Oi Tozai is getting himself into the show team. He took 3 places with 3 fish that we supplied him. And on top of that, this year, there wasn't a massive amount of big fish, which I really welcome, if I'm honest, because I quite like to see people, I quite like to see shows with the people that have got fish, you know, that reach 60, 70 cm, you know, because it is achievable, very achievable. And I know for a fact that a lot of them people bought their fish from Tozai, you know, 100 quid a piece. So they also took awards away with them as well. So it doesn't have to be expensive. And although it may seem like it's all high-end budget pond keeper, if you pick the right fish at Tozai, you can grow it out, and you know, show it when it's bigger than 15 cm. See how you get on, you know, because and it will also take away that that thought that you've said that everything's high end, because it really isn't. It really isn't. So, Yorkie's Koi, don't forget the like button. Cheers, buddy. Darren Holland, show was excellent, better in 2 sheds this year. Yep, so a lot more space. I think there was 38 vats, but definitely a lot more space. One thing that I quite liked was how the vats were put out. So there wasn't that barrier in front of the vats, although be it I know that the National and the Great British are 2 different shows. The one down in Kent has also got that, which is good, but I quite like the fact that you could get a little bit around the vats, so you could see the fish rather, you know, a little bit more up close and personal rather than standing off on a barrier. But I do understand the needs for the barrier, because there has to be certain controls, you know, and when you have got like at the National, the high-end fish, which is something, if you haven't been to see, is worth going to see, just so you can see how big these fish get, and what they will do is they'll give you some sort of inspiration. So when I went to my first National, there's a kajaku and the fukarin, which is like the net that goes over the scales. When that fully develops, on a kajaku that I've seen, absolutely mental, and I couldn't not go back to it time and time again. And that's when I knew that I wanted a really nice fish, and I wanted to try and achieve that. There's something that I've seen and I couldn't get out of my head. It was that amazing. So, you know, even if the high-end fish is something that you're not that keen on, I would still say go and do it. You may not be able to own a 1 metre koi. There's not many people in the land that can. All right, but what you can do is you can go and have a look at them and wow over them and inspire yourself. The other thing at the Great British that was quite nice is the level of fish at mid-range in my mid-table sizes was brilliant, and it was good to see my friend Joe Mitchell also land an absolutely brilliant award with the Asagi. Absolutely beautiful Asagi. I was speaking to him earlier and he's super pleased. That's the one award that he wanted, so he's managed to achieve it. So Edinburgh Koi Pond Steve Charles says, I keep threatening him but haven't made the show for 20 years. Have to keep doing the overtime to pay for the fish food and the electricity to run the pond. Yep, you know, you don't have to show, mate, do you? You can still turn up, show a bit of support, go and meet people that are like-minded as well. That's what the show scene's all about. It's not just about those people showing the fish, it's about those coming to have a look at what the hobby's got. Loads of trade there. Although I did see mixed reviews on the trade, there was a lot of some people made reference to prices not being lowered on the koi and whatnot. You know, but ultimately, I think you'll find that buying koi is, you know, for a dealer has increased this year especially. You know, the cost of living is not just hitting the consumer's pockets, it's also hitting the business's pockets as well, I can assure you of that. Twisty, well, he's said it. He's going to show next year. That's good, Vince. I think that'd be nice for you, mate, to get on the scene. I'd like to say that you'll take a few awards, mate. It'd be nice to see you with a few rosettes. To be honest, mate, I'll 110% be behind you, dude. I know that Ricky from New Forest will as well. So, still trying to move mine on, Vince. If you know anyone, let me know. What have you got to move on, budget? You know, you can always drop pictures on my Facebook, mate, if you want. I don't care. Not on Perfect Aquatics, but on my Krafty Koi one, mate. I don't really care. Yeah, I mean, if I'm honest, I didn't go to the koi show to have a look at people's prices. You know, working in a koi store, I said hello to the guys that were running it, obviously, but in honesty, you know, some shops don't lower their prices on their koi anyway, to be honest, and never did. It's just that towards the end of the day, there's certain dealers that will drop their prices quite considerably because they don't want to take them home. And, you know, they've got the right to do it. So, you know, but you may find that some of the better ones are gone. The other thing is that at the shows, with the dealers, when there's a fair few dealers there, right, the benefits of going to a show is that you get to see koi that you don't normally see from the dealer that you normally go to. You know, there will be koi dealers from all over the land go to shows, you know, and that is the only time that potentially you will get to see what they have on offer. So it's actually quite nice, you know, to have such a big selection. So, you know, if the prices haven't all been dropped, then so be it. You're still getting to see fish that haven't been bought in to your local koi dealer, and that's the way that you should be looking at it, in my opinion. So, do you have to be registered in a club, guys, to show? No, Wills, you don't. So, two different types of koi show: closed scene and open. So, closed private koi shows are via their own koi clubs, and they are ones that you need to be a member of in order to show your fish, because it's a club show. However, ones like the National, the one down in Kent, and also the Great British that we was just on at the weekend, they're open shows. So you do not need to be a member of, not even the BKKS. It's an open show. So it allows anyone to bring their fish along as long as they follow the rules, which they get presented with regards to benching. Turn up on the day, the fish get looked after by the event staff. Judging happens, awards are given, and then you come along, bag your fish up and take them home. That, in a nutshell, is all that you need to do. You don't need any special treatments to be able to show at an open event. Are you guys? Good. Thanks for jumping on, mate. I'm just having a waffle, mate, because I've been fitting my UV and I was just fancied having a chat to myself. Gaz, Vince, Gaz, how do, Will, jobs are good. And well, safe journey, Skeggy. I got a cracking Akamatsuba for a steal of a price from Walker Koi. Be looking. Have you put a video up yet, Vince? Akamatsubas are just starting to come on. Actually, there's going to be a few available soon down at the shop, but quite late in the season, if I'm honest. Steve Charles wishing Skeggy a safe journey. Okay, so Will's Koi, right, Vince, Battle of the Britain, Bud, Artillery versus Guards. Go on then, Wills, that'll be good actually. Let's get them on. Let's get it on there. I haven't had a look yet, Vince, mate. I've been busy, dude. That's what made me ask. I'll have a look after this, though, probably this evening. I've still got to tidy all the shit up in my garden that I've left behind, but might have a bit of battery in my device now. So let's go down there. Did. Yeah, I hope so, Gus, mate. Let's go a bit closer. Well, actually, we can turn the water off. I'll get our lass to do that. Kels, do you want to turn the water off, darling? I sometimes sit on the side here. It's quite nice to see the fish swimming past the other way. You know. Or over the top. But quite a lot of disturbance on the top with topping up going on. But you can see the mess I've made. I don't work tidily, guys. Turn the water off, please. Right, don't moan. I know it's not bang on straight, but I couldn't get it any tighter in there to straighten her up. But she's in. She's working. We're blowing. It's clean. Job's a good one. So hopefully now that that's in, I should get nice clean water if I don't kill myself. Starting also, the missus is on this, so there's the pit of misery just there, everything plumbed into that. That's going to be slabbed over and actually getting down here, so all that is earth that I dug out of here, that we didn't get rid of because we're backfilling all down here. Koi bath is going where it is now, but length far. We're going to just put a small bottom drain in the bottom of that, and then plumb that into that sump just there, the pit of misery. And then we're going to do some decking area down here next to the chickens. So this is what we grew this year, look. Or I didn't, Kel did. They were literally those chicks you could hear in the background when we was on the lives. Look how big they are now. Unfortunately, 3 of them are cockerels. 3?
No, 5.
5 of them are cockerels. So the neighbours love us. But yeah, look, we're not looking too shabby, to be honest. So I know you're probably going, fucking hell, look at the mess. So what I was going to do is I was going to put it along here. However, there was a shelf just there. There was a shelf just there, and I was having it down here. But I tell you what, getting water up to it and out of it and back down through these parts properly was a bit of a mind fuck. So when I took the shelf out, I was like, hang on a minute, I might be able to slot it in there easy enough. So that's what I've done. Not only that, but I can also get the bulbs out, sliding them up. So job's a good one. I'm going to get this all shelved out now, down the side there. And I can take some of these fittings back. Because believe it or not, I did have loads of this all set out ready to put on the wall. But yeah, ain't looking too shabby, guys. The only thing I need to do now is render, eh? But there we go. Thought I'd show you a little bit. Right, water's off. Let's see if we can get anything in here. Not looking too bad. Sumi's still to come on that one. But I think when it comes, that's going to look amazing. You know. The Shih is quite a big girl now, as is the Kajaku. Both of those two fish were bought from a garden centre. When you add them and leave that, eh? And they're quite powerful, actually. And then the rest of them, Vince, I swear to God, man, my brother, let me spin you around. I swear to God, man. Oh, my brother has planned me for the 9th of September. So, Mr. Tropical Koi, good evening. Yeah, he's planned me for the 9th of September, man. So, I'm sort of hoping that he doesn't go back on that. To be perfectly honest, let's have a look, see if this looks good. You can see the fines now. You can see the fines. Yeah, got a love and a saggy. They're not too shabby. I'm not too bothered about fines in water, to be honest. As long as the fish are healthy, that's the main thing. But I can't believe you're still on, Al, to be honest. I thought you'd be having a kip, man, like old man's half hour. You know, especially after a long weekend you've had. So, what have we got? Let me have a look at some of these comments. Da-da-da. Right, so Twisted Koi has got his new purchase on his video. Go over and make sure you check that out. Guzzy's Koi Pond UV is on. That's sweet, mate. This time next week we should be able to see your koi. yeah, I agree, mate. See them enough, but I just want better clarity. Twist is going back to Vince. There's no competition. Irish Geordie Koi. After seeing some of the Shiros from the show this weekend, it's considered to me that I need a good one for a mascot fish for the pond. Confirmed. Yeah, I've got plenty of Omasako Shiro at the shop, mate, and the Kawa ones as well. So if you want to hit me up. Budget Ponky, evening guys. Shiros are looking sweet, Krafty. Yeah, I've got 3 in there. One was a present from me boy from Quenny. I don't know where that's from. One is Omasako, and one is NND DK lineage, Donald Kerr's lineage. That's a nice fish. Steve saying just lost a 70. Oh mate, just lost a 70 centimetre Akamatsuba. Been with me for 20 years. Not sure how old he was, so I'll rescue him from pond. So it's weird, mate. You know, it says to me, looking at that though, it's had a decent life. Probably end of life. That's probably why you can't work out why it's died, but things do have an end of life, mate. So if you can't find anything and your other fish looking good, the chances are that it was just its time, mate. So, but still sorry to hear, mate. Every pond needs at least 2 Shiro at Sori. Yeah, yeah, I want a nice he at Sori, to be honest. I've got a key, but I want a he at Sori. There's a couple down at the shop, but I don't want them. They're too big. I want some smaller ones to grow on. That sounds like a good idea to me, mate, from Krafty Koi. Having 2 Shiro. Yeah, well, if you ask Alan Tate, that's the only fish you should have in your pond. Gaz has just got a nice one a few weeks ago from New Forest Koi. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that, Gaz. Bloody hell, they've well grown. They have actually, mate. I've had a good growing season, I'm not going to lie. A few of them, you know, good 15 centimetres on a couple of my fish, so I'm proper pleased. Both of those Ginrin Shiro were stunning, guys. Work in progress, Krafty. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. It is. The rendering is never getting done. It is Vince. Blah blah blah. So true. Alan, you can pipe down, son, and that I'll have to get you another injection. Vince Lowe, do it yourself. No, I don't want to, mate. Me brother's a renderer. And as a birthday present, which was back in February, he was going to do it, and February the time before, so hopefully he'll get it. But yeah, he's a renderer by trade, mate, so I want him to do it. He's done the house for us. So Big Rob YouTube, hey bro, thanks for your help at the other day. I managed to find someone who will redo my pipe work. I just got to dig all the concrete out around the bottom drain. So true, Big Rob, man. It's shit, mate, when things like that happen. So leak coming from the bottom drain or the drain pipe was what we were seeing. But paying people good money to tell him they fixed it when they fucking hadn't, it was quite shocking, to be honest. Having a good, well, extended off. I've had a couple of weeks off, mate, so getting a few jobs done, which is great. Why don't you go with a nice tiled finish, or are you going to render it the same as the house? Same as the house, Gaz. What you can see above us here, because I want it to fit in. I want it to fit in with that pattern there. So if I spin you around, it'd be quite nice to get to tie it in. You know, own personal. Not only that, but if I'm honest, I'm not overly a massive fan of. I'm not a massive fan of tiles on ponds. You know, I'm not judging anyone else's pond because they all look amazing that have been tiled. But for me personally, I think that there was quite a phase that people went through. I would like to keep mine, you know, as, I don't know, render's not going to go out of fashion, but tiles are. That's what's in my head. So not only that, but I just think that it's easier to clean because my brother's a K renderer. So he'll be putting loads of extra stuff on top of it and whatnot. So I can just then jet wash it down and no problems. But tiles break, they fall off the bloody wall if they're not done properly, etc. And I'm not very good at DIY, I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, not for me, tiles. Totally agree, as long as fish are healthy. Yeah, the fish have always been, you know, I'm not a massive DIYer, if I'm honest. I get quite since getting poorly with my anxiety, I get quite high anxiety when I'm working on my pond. I don't know why. It's just what mental health does to you. But yeah, I get quite high anxiety. So I've been cracking on because Kel's been here, but I couldn't do it when I was on my own last week. But such is life. So yeah, you know, Rome weren't built in a day. I'm not bothered. Can still see me fish. When it gets rendered, it look even better, won't it? I've got a cracking here at Sori in one of the mud ponds at the New Forest. Yes. So that's obviously for Will's Koi. It'll look good when it's rendered. It will. But I'm going to get on my brother in a while and tell him that he's a knob. Because he hasn't rendered me pond and I'm getting loads of abuse for it. So I'll blame you guys for falling out with me brother soon. It's not a problem. Romans use mosaic, not render. Oh, can you imagine putting my... Oh, Kel, that's not a bad idea.
What?
We could mosaic it with loads of little 1 centimetre tiles.
No.
Okay, that got the thumbs down. Kahaku's looking good. Yeah, those people that had them. It'd be interesting to see updates for Mr. Tate to do a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Judging, if that's what he does. I don't think he judges anymore. To be fair, he's just there in the middle of the ring. Have you? How long you got left, mate, before you get it in, Gaz? It's got to be about now, surely, isn't it? So, job for tomorrow is felt the roof off, and then put that stuff around the edge. I don't even know what it's called, just to tie it all in, and then I'll be getting the lights installed. So I've got the 2 UFO lights and also the one inside the filter house. One thing I'm unsure about doing is whether or not I'm going to screen off the backy shower, i.e. behind the backy shower, not in front of it, so the water falls out. I think I might actually feather edge it off just to block it out and make it into a proper room, to be honest. But probably do that next year. Probably not this year. Yeah, me too, Al, to be honest, mate. If I do the full 2 weeks. 2 weeks if you do. Mate, you need to give it a scrape, see if it's any good. If it's not showing any signs now, mate, get it in your pond. You don't, they were in isolation QT for about 5 weeks, mate. About 5.5, 6 weeks by the time people put them in their ponds. So, there ain't no funnies with them, dude. Otherwise, you would have seen it already. So it's okay to go straight in your pond, in my opinion, Gaz. It's perfect, not a mark on it, and nothing that it's been in with has anything on any of them. To be fair, it could go in at any time. I'll put it in now, Gaz, if I were you, mate. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, mate. That's what I was saying, Vince. So Vince put what like the rendering. Yeah, the rendering get done when it gets done, because my brother's doing it. But I'm going to felt the roof off. I'm going to put the bits around the edge that ties it in. I don't know what that's called. I'm actually going to fix the beams across the pergola, because I bought a couple more to fill out, because I didn't think there was enough on it. So I bought a couple more to put on, and then we're putting 2 UFO lights on and then a light in the filter house. But I've already paid my electrician to do it, so he's going to be doing that, mate, to be honest. But any YouTubers out there that went to the show, thoughts on the show, really interesting to know. Oh, if not, I'll probably call it quits. But there's 7 lights on the channel. It's always nice. I don't do much on YouTube now, guys. I ain't got a lot of time anymore, but I like to stay active. Always good to see you. Thanks. About 40 people joined in, so it was nice to see. I think I'm gonna go and put them bits in. I'm gonna order us a pizza. Yes, sorry, mate. I'm just signing off, dude. Sorry, dude. I'm gonna order a pizza for everyone, and then tidy up, and then get my stuff ready for tomorrow. So, anyway, thanks for tuning in. Have a good rest of your bank holiday. Get on the beers, son. Al, you're old, and the rest of you, I love you lots. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon.